Hello! It's a beautiful sunny day and I'm inside. Now I'm gonna go outside later. It's absolutely gorgeous out. This is what we're making. Gingembre citron. C'est trop beau. Franchement, c'est trop bon. Honestly, in the new year, I want to start making more loose leaf tea because I know these tea bags aren't the best for you. But that's a New Year's resolution that we can talk about. I feel like this video is gonna be a little bit about like New Year's resolutions. Yeah, and just other random thoughts that have been on my mind because I feel like I'm stepping into like a new, I don't know, feels like a new phase that I'm trying to navigate. I feel like more constantly like leaving old phases and then coming back to new phases, and I don't know. I think that it's important to recognize when things need to be vocalized, said out loud. And I think it's gonna help me, like making videos helps me to put those ideas out there and have honestly almost like a trace of what my thoughts were a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a year ago. I actually have a funny story, but I'm gonna finish making my tea and then I'm gonna tell it. A Wisconsin mug. Right there. Cheers! It's the last day before going back to work. And I'm trying to just use up this time that I have to do. At first, my plan today was to go shopping because I need to go and get, I don't need to go and get anything. I just wanted to look a little bit and see if there was something. I have a party that I'm going to on Saturday and the theme is glam. And I realized I don't really have anything sparkly. I had one sparkly piece, but I actually already got rid of it. And now I'm like, dang it, I should have kept it, but that's okay. I was like, okay, the lighting is great. It's a sunny day. It's not cloudy out. I'm gonna go for a little walk in a little bit, but before that, I was like, I have a little bit of time to record and almost like sit down and talk a little bit about things. The last video I just posted was just kind of me getting back into editing a little bit, having a little bit of fun. I think it's always good to remember to have fun with YouTube and things like that. And I think Emma Chamberlain talked about this, how she loves editing. And it's something that I definitely prefer editing way more than I prefer recording because I forget to record and I don't love whipping out the camera in front of people. I don't know, I don't like doing it. I'm trying to get better at it, and I think I actually already am doing a little bit of a better job. I'm still steeping, but the editing part is fun for me. And so yeah, I just posted a little video and I found some really fun clips that I hadn't used in the past that I wanted to use because I want to look back on them and remember little moments. And I think that's kind of my whole shtick, my whole brand, I guess you can say, is it's like extraordinary. Like these little moments, those little ordinary moments, I feel like they are extraordinary. And when I look back at these clips and things like that, I go, it's so, it makes me like emotional almost because it's just like you don't know in the moment, like things are changing, things are constantly changing, and in the moment you're just like that way in one moment. In a lot of the clips I had bangs, in a lot of the clips I just knew exactly what I was going through in that moment, and things are so different and things change all the time. So that being said, hello, my name's Kristin and I live in Paris, France. I'm recording from the kitchen. I live in a small studio apartment with my partner. It is not at all like Emily in Paris, let me tell you that. And I say that it's not at all because I think there's a lot of sacrifices that need to be made to live in a city like this. I think living in Paris, there's a lot of, here, let me move this a little bit. But what I was saying is that I feel like living in Paris, you make a lot of sacrifices to live in a city that has, the apartments are small, they're expensive, and yeah, it's not like Emily in Paris, let me tell you that. But in many ways it's even better. So I think on my channel there's been quite a few people that actually followed me because of my small apartment tour, and I find that it's so funny that that video was the video that I guess on my channel is the most popular, because that little apartment, let me tell you, I love that little apartment so much. And some people also loved it. Some people were like, I could never live in that, blah, blah, blah. And I've been reflecting about the future and like what I want to do. Do I want to live in Paris forever? Like, what's the plan? And I feel like I need both. I feel like I love having a little cozy place where there's not much to clean. It like kind of makes you have to go outside and enjoy the outside and be in other spaces, because like your own little space, it's just like it kind of forces you outside in that way. But at the same time, I do love, some days I'm like, I need a home gym, like I need space. And I've been trying to do a better job of balancing out those two things, like getting away when I need to and like enjoying the space and enjoying Paris while I'm here. I feel like things are changing. It's the beginning of a new era. Everyone always feels like that at the beginning of the year. And for some reason, this year feels a little bit different. I think in the past 2 years, I've been very focused on a lot of my personal changes. Like there's been a lot of personal changes in my personal life, relationships, things like that. And now I think I'm starting to settle a little bit back into like, let's look inward again. Like let's focus inward a little bit and really trying to figure out again. I think we're constantly trying to figure out what we want. Once you get that one thing, there's like always the next thing. There's always the next thing. You can always be growing and you can always be evolving. Now I'm trying to reevaluate a little bit what that looks like for me. This sun is just going crazy. Okay, I think we're gonna need to shift things a little bit because the lighting, whoa, that is bright right there. I wonder if I could put this here 1 second. I feel like we're just gonna end up having to record from the floor because as you can see, this light is beaming right where I want to record. Back to what I was saying, I think things are obviously constantly changing, and I think I need to reevaluate a little bit like what I'm doing. I'm gonna be 29 and in just like a couple months, and there are some things that I wanted to obviously like do before I'm 30. I don't know, I don't like these deadline things, but as I'm getting closer to 30 now, I'm like, I would really like to, you know, finish those books that have been sitting on my shelf that like I finished three-quarters of it, but I haven't finished the whole book. And it's like, girl, why? Like, finish the book. Particular. Now I'm like feeling a sense of urgency. I don't know why I'm feeling a sense of urgency now, this year, but I just feel like I want to spend my time a little bit more wisely, and I think maybe it's because in some ways I feel like I'm settling in a little bit into more of a routine, more of a rhythm, and And now I want to spend that time with intention. There was a time where in my early 20s, like, I wanted to try everything. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to travel everywhere. I wanted to do whatever. And, you know, I'm glad I did that when I did that, because now that allows me to take this time to enjoy the fact that I'm not doing those things. Like, I'm not going everywhere. I'm not doing everything, but the things I'm doing, I'm like, I want to freaking do that, if that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like that's how I'm feeling. And in particular, I'm feeling that way about finishing things, starting things. I want to work on things that feel meaningful. And I am starting by finishing a bunch of these books that, like I said, I've read 3/4 of them, but I haven't completely finished them. And today I'm happy to say that I finished one of them. This book, it's called Conversations on Love. I bought it, this is my little story that I was gonna tell. I bought it exactly, you can't see, but exactly 2 years ago to this day. And I finished it today, which is, I don't know if you believe in signs, but for me, that seems like a sign. So I finished it exactly 2 years ago to this day. And when I saw that on the book, and I bought it here in Paris when I was living at my old apartment, now I'm like, yeah, that's a sign. It was really good, and it was a lot about, I mean, the ending was actually, it's really, like, knock on wood, but it's not something that I feel super connected to right now. In the ending of the book, they talked a lot about loss and, like, loving through loss. And I guess there's just, like, a couple things about these chapters that I found extremely profound, and I'm like, I would love to share these with the world. I'm gonna have to record this down here because I can't hold the camera and hold the book. At the end of the book, there were just generally themes of meaning, like how do you bring more meaning to life and, like, to loss and all of these things. And meaning seems to be the thing that is what's most desired at the end, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't really matter what you do, it doesn't matter whatever you did, but was there meaning? And when I say meaning, I think they talk a lot about connection. And I think that's kind of what guided, I've been looking for a guiding word to guide my decisions and my, you know, how I spend my time and things like that. And I think that connection and meaning is, like, number one now that I think about it. And it's given me a little bit of my why as to, I've talked about how I want to, you know, make YouTube videos, how I want to make people feel, and I think it all comes down to connection. And I think my favorite videos that I've made and posted on this channel are about trying to connect, especially when I felt like I needed to connect with people. It was a way, like my loneliness video, I mean, it's not like those are my most, people don't know me that well where they interact that much with my videos, but for me it was almost like this way to connect with maybe myself and my feelings, and, like, see if there were other people that were feeling that way as well. And I think that's very basic, but I think in the New Year's resolution space and all that stuff, there's a lot of, like, trying to work out and trying to lose weight and trying to, you know, better my relationships, trying to, you know, there's all these different goals that we are trying to achieve, whether it's building a business or whatever, posting more on the internet, I don't know. And I think the biggest word that connects all of these things, and for me at least, it's like, I want to work out because I want to have a better connection to my body. I want to have a better connection to my body and like understanding, like it's almost like having experience, right? And I know that's like getting very deep, but it's almost having experience. Every time I show up to that mat, right now I'm really into Pilates. Every time I show up to the Pilates mat, it feels like I'm taking a moment to connect with myself and my body. And I think about that with social media and scrolling. I like social media. I like being on my phone. However, I like it when I get to connect with people and when I have funny little interactions with people and people that maybe in my past, like I haven't talked to in a while, and then they randomly reply and it's a nice little connection. It's connection, right? And I thought that this passage, so they're talking about how there's little anecdotes in the story. In the book, this is the passage that really stood out to me. I saw this clearly when Lucy described how Paul's death, so her husband, has changed the goals she has for her daughter. Instead of focusing on Caddy's achievements, that's her daughter, Lucy hopes for her to have love and connection in her life. I think that's so, like, that's such a nice thing as a parent to wish for your kid. This answer stood out because I hadn't heard those words talked about as goals before. Goals were things filled out in an annual review at work or resolutions made on the 1st of January to achieve more that year, pass a driving test, ask for a pay raise, etc. I have never set a goal to see an old friend 4 times a year instead of 2, or to finally invite the upstairs neighbors down for a drink, or to call my Aunt Julia, who I loved speaking to but only ever saw at Christmas. And here's the line that I love. How different life might be, I thought, if we made goals like these, to connect rather than to achieve. That's it, I'm done. My work here is done. No, it's just, I really do enjoy this, and I'm gonna say it one more time. How different life might be, I thought, if we made goals like these to connect rather than to achieve. That's good. That's some good stuff. I think, all that being said, as I head into the new year and as, you know, we're all making goals, I think that it's really important to remember this in mind, or keep this in mind, because as we're, again, making goals to better ourselves, better our bodies, better our minds, reading more, like, I think going into the goal with the intention of connecting, whether that's to yourself or to others, like I'm doing here, I think that helps. It helps take the pressure off, and it helps guide a little bit, I think, the conversations, and it helps guide. It makes it feel more natural. It makes it, you know, I think we're wired to connect, and when we think about that, like, I'm connecting to my body, I'm connecting to my mind. When I'm reading, when you're writing, I journal, I'm trying to journal more. I'm always trying to journal more, you know? But when we're doing these things, it's like, I'm doing this not just because I want to, like, check it off a list, but I'm doing it because I want to connect to myself more. It feels so much better when it's said like that, instead of being like, oh, I gotta journal. It's like, no, I wanna connect. And this is why I think reading, it always shows up. Reading always shows up when you need it. And that's why I think it's so valuable to change things up. I was not reading daily like a couple days ago. Like, I was maybe reading like 3 or 4 times a week. But now I'm like, I love it. But trust me, I love a good scroll on my phone. I love it more than anything. Okay, this is for my maximalist people, aka me. I feel like I'm sort of a maximalist when it comes to how I want to spend my time, and like how I want to, yeah, I try to get the most out of things. not if what you can't have is food and shelter. Obviously, we need food and shelter, but if your options have just become more limited, it's a little easier to get on with your life instead of always thinking about how to get the best out of it. Now I find it easier to say, this is my life. I don't think could I maximize what I've got? Could it be better? Could it be different? I'm like, no, this is it. This life is the one. And it goes back to my video I made about making choices. And sometimes you just gotta make choices to figure out if it's not the thing that you want, or maybe it is the thing that you want. And making choices is the best way to move forward. It really is. Obviously think about those choices, but it really is the best way to move forward if like you're feeling stuck. Oh, and then like I said, the last part of this book, they talk a lot about loss, and I love this. And as your resident nostalgic person, they talk about the everydayness of loss. Obviously, I've been through loss. I've lost my stepdad, and that is a kind of loss that I've never experienced before. As like when you're losing someone that's close, it's such a permanent and final feeling, and things, the moment that they are gone, it feels so different, and you know things are changing. But this is where at the beginning of this video I was talking about how I feel like things are changing. You know, we're always feeling like we're stepping into a new era. At least I do, because I'm a romantic, like I romanticize things. But this woman, she was saying, but Stephen invited me to think about the everydayness of loss. The tender melancholy that comes with letting go of significant places, schools, universities, jobs, as we seek out new adventures. Or the loss of a youth we leave behind to build an adult future. This is me. That's me. Right there. The loss of youth we leave behind to build an adult future. And at almost 29, I'm starting to feel that. Rather than something we experience a handful of times, I learned that loss is a part of every day and a part of love too. Yeah, that's good. Books are good. Yeah, and then she just goes on to say, life requires of us that we let go of places, things, people we love to make room for new life, new love. Development demands loss. It's unbearable. We resist it, but if we are to grow, we must endure this pain. This is where, you know, like, I feel like in the last year or two, things have been changing, but at the same time, I haven't been in like this, I need to grow, I need to develop kind of a thing. I was almost actually like, I need to take a second, kind of slow down, take a second, grow in other ways, but like in terms of personal projects, things like that, I was like, I don't need to be forcing anything. There's no point in forcing anything I don't know. To me, there's just no point in forcing anything if the intent behind it is not what you want it to be. Like, why would I make YouTube videos if I don't feel like making YouTube videos? Or if my intent behind it is not necessarily to connect. And I feel like I kept saying I want to do this, but I just didn't have the right intention. And sometimes you just gotta take a step back. And then sometimes if you know you want to grow, like, you gotta step into it, and then you gotta let go of some things in order to do that. I don't know who I'm preaching to. I'm not. I am not. I don't know. I'm not a preacher. Yeah. Anyways, I just love this book. Oh. Yeah, definitely check this book out. Very good book. Conversations of Love by Natasha Lunn. Secondly, another little thing that I want to talk about, and I'm almost hoping that these videos kind of guide other people's reflections on maybe like if they're journaling too, if they're writers, it can help them start journaling, thinking about these things, writing about these things. But as I said earlier, so I live in a small space, and I live with a partner, and we live, I don't know how many square feet, actually I should look up. We live in just about 250 square feet. I don't think that's a lot in terms of like American standards. It's way bigger, not my last apartment, but my one that's on this YouTube channel. But when you live with a partner, you need space, right? So I've been thinking a lot about space lately. And also I've been thinking about space in terms of like mind, body, spirit. And I have been regularly practicing yoga now for a couple months. I'm gonna start taking classes for the next 3 months as a more like regular in-person practice, which I haven't really done in, I don't know, I haven't done in-person practice in a long time. So I'm excited for that because I think it kind of correlates to this theme. I think connection is my #1 theme for this year. And then second is also space, because I think sometimes you need space in order to connect. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I feel about it. And I'm just gonna read a little bit or reflect a little bit about what I was just journaling about. And this was on January 1st. So this is a couple days ago. I've been sitting on it, thinking about it. So I just had written that I just finished a yoga practice. And especially in this small space, sometimes I just feel like I need that inner space to think, to be quiet, to process, to let go, things like that. And in my day-to-day life, I'm not the most like reflective person. A lot of times, especially when you work in a 9-to-5, when you work in corporate, like you don't got time to be, I'm working on Excel or I'm doing other things, and my mind, like my mind is occupied, and I don't have necessarily the time all the time to reflect. And I think that's a good thing. I think if I had all the time in the world to reflect all the time, I think I would go crazy. So I think it's important to have both, right? Doing, not reflecting, doing rather than thinking all the time. But then you gotta give yourself that space if you're not giving yourself that space to do it. And I wrote this: I think I've been holding on to a lot and expecting a lot of others to process these emotions and ideas with me. And I think in a way, me making this video, it is a way that I give myself space as well. Only we can really give ourselves the attention we deserve and need. Let that sink in. I'm like, when I wrote that, I was like, dang, I didn't even know I was feeling like that. Like, I was like, I need attention. Like, sometimes you just need more attention. And sometimes people can't give it to you. And sometimes it's up to you to give it to yourself. And especially when others can't show up 100%. For example, me and my partner, we were not feeling like the best the other day. We were just tired. And I'm like, I want to hang out. And like, this is where it kind of inspired me to write this, because I was like, you know, like, people don't have to, especially ones that are really close to you and spend a lot of time with you. I know I don't like it when people always are asking things of me when I feel drained. So I gotta pay more attention to that. It is the new year, but I'm still the old me. I'm the one at 24, I'm the one at 25, I'm the one at 26, or go through this. Suddenly we're 28, living with someone new that we love and love deeply. And we haven't taken the time to really understand what all has happened and what all this means. I was just thinking about so-and-so too. Part of me inevitably feels guilty about it, but I know that these people, they changed me. And I was thinking about this person because I was editing the last video. Because they were someone that, like, I think spiritually, and if I have friends watching this, they're gonna laugh at me, but genuinely, this person changed me, like, spiritually, in some ways that I just am so forever grateful for. And when I say spiritually, I think almost creatively, like, they really influenced me. Sometimes I think often about how this person changed me, how my rhythm changed, how this person allowed me to see this selfishness inside of myself, and how he also took it for himself, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like it was being modeled to me, like, what it means to be a creative person and, like, yeah, show up as a creative person in this world. You have to be kind of selfish. Like, I'm taking time to make this video instead of, or like writing. I don't know. I take time to write instead of maybe constantly connecting with people or constantly talking with people. Like, it's selfish. It is selfish to create in some ways. But then I think it does hopefully maybe touch more people. I don't know. I think in order to prioritize the things that mean the most to ourselves, sometimes we do end up hurting people. Those particularly who want attention. And that in itself is a gift to that other person. Does that sound messed up to say? I don't know. It gives the other person the space to give themselves attention, which we forget sometimes that we can do. Voila. Okay, that makes more sense to me. Sometimes I think we do forget that, especially when you're in a long-term romantic relationship, that you can give yourself the attention that you need and that you deserve. Or maybe if you're in a tight-knit family as well. When we are with, at least for me, other people, spouses, boyfriends, social media, scrolling on our phone, it is about what value can I give to them? What value can I offer? But rarely do we ask ourselves, how can I connect in this space? How can I seek fulfillment? Almost in working together with this other person, in the value that we can give to ourselves. And maybe this is just how I think too, because I think I often I'm sort of okay, let's give, but sometimes I forget to receive, if that makes sense. Receive attention, receive ideas, new things. Yeah, anyways, I don't know. It was kind of a rambly journal entry. I don't know, I love this journal and I hope to fill it up more this year. I started journaling in this journal in January of last year because this journal was given to me as a Christmas gift from my brother. Shout out. I definitely think it could be used as a better tool of connection. I really do think it could be. Yeah, and that's kind of, like I said, that's kind of my theme and my word this year. Connection. Yeah, connection and space. Connection and space. Yeah, I like those. I'm gonna end this with a poem that I wrote, and it's about space. The gift of space, priceless. Physical but infinite, mentally deliberate. Creativity thrives in space. Small spaces, expansive ones, Paris apartments, wooded retreats. Space is not just physical, you can create it yourself, within yourself. Give the gift of space to yourself. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what we're gonna end on. I feel like that was a rambly, punchy video. I have a lot of energy today. I've been sleeping a lot, which is great. But yeah, definitely check this book out. I don't know, I guess if anyone's watching this, in the comments, maybe talk about like what word or two words. I know some people really don't like word of the years, but I I tend to like it, or at least start with intention. A lot of times I end up forgetting unless I record something like this. But I think my two biggest words are connection and space this year. And I would like to know what your words are. And like maybe why, if you feel so inclined to share. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for showing up to this space, this virtual space. Yeah, I hope to see you again soon. Okay. All right. Bisous de Paris. Ciao.